Hello, everyone. Welcome. We'll call the meeting of the Madison City Commission to order for the meeting of December 10th, 2012. Jen, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Dozer,
Here.
Commissioner Erickson, Commissioner Waldner,
Here.
Commissioner Abraham,
Here.
Mayor Hexum.
Here. You have the minutes of the December 3rd meeting. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes of the last meeting?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from December 3rd.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the minutes of the December 3rd meeting as prepared. Any questions or speaking? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. You have the agenda for this meeting before you. Are there any changes to the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the agenda as prepared. Any questions or speaking? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. Under appearances, acknowledgements, and correspondence, number one is to acknowledge the November building permit report.
Make a motion to acknowledge the November building permit report.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded that we acknowledge the November building permit report as prepared. Chad, do you have any comment on the building permit report?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
Okay. If not, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. Number two, under appearances, acknowledgements, and correspondence, acknowledge the proposed resolution of necessity 2013-1, the 2013 sidewalk improvement. That is a part of your packet. What are your wishes? Chad, do you want to make any comment on the proposed resolution?
Sure, I can do that, Your Honor. This is a proposed resolution that we had created based upon the input from the meeting we had in October, on October, it would have been 21st or 2nd timeframe, where we presented the recommendations from the Sidewalk Committee of the City Commission for potential locations for assessments of new sidewalks in 2013. And at that meeting, the commission asked me to prepare some resolutions of necessity, proposed resolutions, to go through the process. We had prepared those, and the process that is a typical process we've used in the past. From here forward, you would acknowledge this proposed resolution, and then we would provide mailings to the potential affected property owners, and publish in the paper the proposed resolution for a hearing that would be held on January 7th. And at that time, the commission would, already up to that point, the commission would receive input from the public, written or verbal or in any other fashion. And then the commission would consider the resolution on January 7th for actual making final the requirement to install the sidewalk at these proposed locations. Now that's the process for both items 2 and 3 of this acknowledgement section. No action, of course, is on actually making this requirement tonight. It's just to acknowledge the proposed resolution and set the date of hearing that we've put together for January 7th.
Correct. This is the beginning of a several-step process, and with the final step being taken on January 7th at 5:35 p.m., subject to the motion hearing tonight. That will be the public hearing process for the proposed resolution.
That's correct.
Both resolutions 2013-1 and 2013-2 are on the schedule and will follow the same schedule, right, Chad?
That's correct.
Okay. So all we're doing tonight is acknowledging that there's a proposed resolution coming forward. Everyone clear? Okay.
If there's any questions by, landowners or commissioners in the interim, they're welcome to, ask me as far as we have tabulated and come up with some information as far as footages and so on and so forth. But we always want to make that known that we're available to answer questions as well in the interim, so.
And there is a provision that as of 5 PM on January 3rd, 2013, that would be the final time for written objections, if there are any, to the proposed resolution, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. What are your wishes?
Make a motion to acknowledge the proposed resolution of necessity for 2013-1 and set date of hearing for January 7th.
Second.
Okay, the motion is made and seconded that we acknowledge proposed resolution of necessity 2013-1, which is one portion of the 2013 sidewalk improvement proposed program. Any questions or speaking? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion is carried. Item number 3, which we'll take next, same
Mayor, it's
procedure.
It's
What?
5:35 for our other hearing.
I
Are we okay with that?
think,
January?
I think
Okay.
we can, yeah. I think we can take number 3 under appearances, acknowledgements, and correspondence. And that is the proposed resolution of necessity 2013-2 regarding the 2013 proposed sidewalk improvement program. The same procedure applies here. Receipt of written objections, January 3rd, 5 PM. January 7th, 2013, 5:35 PM will be the public hearing on this proposed resolution, and as a part of the steps of that. Anything else, Chad, to add to that one?
No, sir.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? What are your wishes?
I'll make a motion to acknowledge the proposal resolution of necessity 2013-2 and also set the date of hearing as January 7th,
Second.
5:35.
Okay, the motion is made and seconded that we acknowledge the proposed resolution of necessity 2013-2 regarding the 2013 sidewalk improvement program. Any questions or speaking on that motion?
Did you guys come for this, or?
The sidewalk thing?
Yeah, this is yours.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess, I just have a question is, according to what was in the paper, I'm a little unclear of how far west on Southwest First Street's proposal is going.
On First Street Southwest, it's going to, all the way to the city limits on the north side, which would be up to the bar property, I believe it's the bar property. On the north side, that's how far it would go, and then on the south side, it would go up to the Fedler property, and then up to the Fedler property.
Which
You're taking Fiddler in there.
Dave Fedler's, it
David
would go
Fedler.
up to, but not include his?
That's correct.
Why?
The north side is not in city limits, and the south side,
Who paid for curb and gutter on that north side?
that was
The
installed.
city did.
Right, that was installed as part of the project, I believe it was in '05, with an assessment project, and then also using some funds from the surface transportation funds that the state has to do that. And so,
Well, why didn't you use them funds to help everybody then?
for the street, there was, that was the process for the street at that time. I don't have all the particulars in front of me, but I believe it was, the landowners paid for 50% of, I may not get this exactly right, for 50% of the cost, up to 100.
50 feet.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't 50% of the cost, I believe it was, I just don't have all the details. I think it was $150 $150 a foot, I don't know exactly, and up to 150 feet.
And anything
then
else over with it?
Anything over that was not assessed
But
back to
if
the
you sold that
landlord.
lot, then you gotta pay the other half.
Pardon me?
If you sold the property, then you will
Then
assess the balance.
you still won't have it.
That was in the contract.
My share
Okay.
come to 15,000, I pay 7. If I sell that lot, I gotta pay another 7. We're supposed to, anything over 150 feet was a set price.
Okay. Yeah, if that's what you say and that's what's in it, I just don't remember the exact
You get
details,
different
yeah.
stories all the time.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess our question is, we have 633 feet on the south side.
And nobody walks out there, lives out
And,
there.
Yeah.
I mean, a sidewalk's gonna cost us, what, $30,000? I mean, that's hardly not even realistic in my estimation.
I still want 7,000, then you want another 7,000 for sidewalk. Nobody walks out there.
Yep.
There are several areas east of Highland Avenue that doesn't have sidewalks either. I understand that part of this is coming from the development there. They want, there's a lot of kids in there. They want a safe way to get to the pool. Well, they gotta start on the east side first, or at least do those two. There's a lot of areas that don't have sidewalks even on First Street.
Yeah, the proposed resolution goes as far east, it connects at, I believe it's Chicago. So it's going from Chicago all the way to that west limit that we had talked about. And so there'll be a sidewalk installed, as this is written, on both sides of Highland Avenue for
Do you
this.
think that's necessary to have it on both sides, or would there be a shared thing that you could do?
All I can say is the sidewalk committee made a recommendation to the city commission, and they took under that under advisement. And since I've been involved in the program, and since I've been here, basically, there has not been a time when they selected one side and not the other to put that in, where there was sufficient right-of-way available. Where there's sufficient right-of-way available, it's always been put in on both sides when there's been an assessment like this.
Well, if you decide to do this, you're gonna get the lot lines straightened out, or probably down to a higher survey.
We would have to, the landowner would be responsible to install it on their frontage. We can provide them some assistance to the extent
You
we
don't have to
can.
straighten the lot lines out.
Well, we don't establish the lot lines, you know, the property owners have their own, they have their property and their property limits. It's not, I didn't establish your lot lines, you know, or anybody else's for that matter. It's when the property was subdivided and developed, the surveyors at that time
You
did
told
that.
me you would go back and research the plot.
We would look at those in addition to it to try to aid the landowners, but I'm not the surveyor to set up the boundaries for, you know, each individual
What good
landowner's
would it do to
property.
research the plot then?
Excuse me?
What good would it do to research the plot then?
We've researched it from the courthouse, from the plats, from the original platting of that subdivision. You know, there's various ages of plats varying from the early 1900s to as recent as the 1990s and 2000s, I believe. And those boundary lines were established by surveyors at those time and/or subsequent landowners who had sold off portions of the property based upon legal descriptions and such like that. So what was recorded at the courthouse is what we use to establish the estimates of the frontages for the landowners at this point.
Is there gonna be any funds available to help pay for that when we have to pay for that much sidewalk?
There hasn't been any funds provided by the city for, in the past, you know, as far as assistance to landowners. So I don't believe there are any anticipated right now either.
You definitely don't get a break on the interest from the city, so.
So, yeah, I think the last one was 11% is what they started out, the interest, I don't know what it is now, but that's what they started it at, was 11%.
Yeah, depending on the process, if the landowners opt to have the city install it with our contractor, and then that, they pay the cost, but then there's different payment options that are established subsequently by the city commission, and then a different time period, I think 5 to 7 years may be the time period. And they also have the choice as far as what the interest rates are. I believe historically it's been prime rate plus a couple percent, I don't know exactly, a couple percentage, but if it's prime's lower now, it'd probably be a little bit lower than that. And of course, the landowners, most often we find in these projects, they do opt to install that with their own contractors. It's just the way it's been. You know, they don't have to. I mean, we hire contractors who are poised to do that, but maybe it's just a comfort level that, you know, each landowner has with their own contractors.
As long as they're licensed, they're.
Correct.
And then okay, like on our street where they already have the fire hydrant there and they already have the cable boxes and all that, are they gonna put the sidewalk where none of that's gonna be affected, or?
We've done some preliminary survey and the alignment, we do have to take into account where the other utilities are. You know, we do have to stay within the right of way, you know, the public right of way. And then we also take into account where the utilities are. If we have to move them, if there's no possible way, we coordinate with utility companies. But more often than not, we find that there is sufficient space to maneuver the alignment for the sidewalk to go in without having to move them.
Okay, what happens where we have a building, an existing building, the gray building that's already been there for years and years and years, and it's pretty close to the road? What are they gonna do, put the sidewalk right in front of the driveway, the doorway? I mean, that's about where it's gonna come out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to go from memory from the larger shed there.
The little gray one.
Yeah.
The door to the north.
None of the buildings that I'm aware of are that close to the property line, you know, there'll be sufficient room within the right of way to put in a
How
sidewalk.
far
Or
from the curb and gutter, 15 feet? Right away?
the standard by resolution that the commission has elected to utilize was a minimum of 5 feet from the back. It can't be closer than 5 feet from the back of the curb. And then, of course, you can put that up to, you know, your property line. So typically, anywhere from that 5-foot gap, there should be no sidewalk. That creates, historically, the Public Works Department has coordinated with us on that, and they want to avoid that for current and future snow removal type concerns and future complaints. But then it can go up to, depending on your right-of-way width, all the way to your right-of-way line, which would be about 10 feet. You know, so between 5 and 10 feet is what your right-of-way is there, because it's a 66-foot right-of-way.
How
So
wide is the sidewalk? 4.5?
4 feet 8 inches. Right.
I guess that I would encourage you to visit with Chad regarding your questions and concerns on this. This is just the very first step of a long process for 2013. I'm not sure that we're prepared to answer and discuss all of your questions here tonight. That is why we have the schedule, and between now and January 3rd and the hearing on January 7th is the time for discussion with Chad or anyone else that you would have regarding the proposed resolution. All we're doing tonight is acknowledging the proposal to go forward. So
This information, you were asking like how wide the sidewalk had to be in that, as well as this calendar of events, it's all inside the packet that's,
When will that be available?
it's all online.
Oh,
At the city website, just go to agendas, city commission, and then December 10th agenda. It's all in there as part of the packet.
You just don't go around trees like you did up in Rock Park?
We have standards as far as how the transition rates, how quickly we can transition. Now, I know there's a lot of sidewalks out there that, but we've tried to be consistent in the recent years to make it safe and not abrupt changes in alignment or slopes and such like that. But you also get a letter from this with some additional details, and as Commissioner Waldner mentioned, it is online as well. And again, you're welcome to call us, and we can go through this, you know, kind of walk you through it too, if you have more questions and such at any time as well.
okay, thank you for coming, and we stand ready to, you know, further questions, discussions, and those types of things as we move forward. So if there are no other questions or comments, all in favor of the motion to acknowledge proposed resolution of necessity 2013-2, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion is carried. Old business, we have one item, that being the hearing on the 2013 alcoholic beverage license renewals. The alcoholic license beverage renewals are listed as a part of your record here. I don't wish to read all of them. Everything appears to be in order, Jen. We have received all of the present holders have completed their applications. This is for on sale and off sale. And I have had no comment, pro or con, on any of the applications. I would invite any of the commissioners, if they have received any questions or concerns. Hearing none, could we have a motion then to approve the 2013 alcoholic beverage license renewal applications?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded that we approve the alcoholic beverage license renewal applications as presented and published. Any further questions or speaking on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. Under new business, several items. Number one, bills for approval and bills for ratification.
Make a motion to approve and ratify the bills.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve and ratify the bills as presented. Any questions or speaking? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. New business number two, Resolution 2828, the 2013 salary resolution for employees of the City of Madison. Jen, do you have any comment?
Salary resolution number 2828 reflects a 2.5% cost of living increase on all step and grade amounts. All supervisor salary ranges were also increased 2.5%, with the exception of the electrical superintendent, who was increased about 10%. There were no grade assignment changes this year. Also included is the 3% increase in the health and dental insurance benefit, along with the corresponding adjustment scheduled on that benefit for each January 1st. Okay? This year, I also included the performance pay acknowledgement form as received from Aaron at the community center. His part-time staff is eligible for additional compensation if they meet the respective criteria. It does result in additional gross salaries, so I included it this year in the annual salary resolution. Questions?
I don't have any. Any from the commissioners?
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2828 for the 2013 salaries.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded that we approve resolution number 2828, the 2013 salaries for the employees of the City of Madison. Any questions or speaking? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion is carried. New business number 3, to review the chemical bids. Fred or Chad, who wishes to review that with us here?
Well, we had received bids on the 29th of November. At 10 o'clock, we opened them, or Chad did, I guess. We received 5 bids. We're bidding lime, liquid chlorine, carbon dioxide, ferric chloride, fluoride, and soda ash. We recommend that Pete Lean from Rapid City be awarded the lime, and everything else would go to, carbon dioxide would go to Air Liquid, and then everything else go to Hawkins Chemical out of Minnesota. And I think you have all the price quotes there.
How does this compare, Fred, with prices before or last year?
Well, your chlorine's actually gone down
according to the 2012 price, a couple of dollars. Looks like your line's gone up probably about $5 per ton. So you've got some fluctuation back and forth. Ferric chloride went down, it looks like. And your fluoride actually went down. So some of them actually went down, just a couple of minor increases, it looks like.
Okay, can we handle this in one resolution then, or motion, Jen, or do you want one on each contract?
We can do it all in one.
All in one?
Please.
Okay.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the lime bid from Pete Leans and Sons from Rapid City, the carbon dioxide bid from, let's pronounce this right,
Yeah, I messed it up myself.
if I can read it with my old, give me the name one more time.
Aaron Lequette.
Aaron Lequette,
Yep,
and then all the other
from Hawkins Chemical.
from Hawkins Chemical.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded that we accept the bids for chemicals as stated here with a lime from lime contract, Pete Lean and Sons of Rapid City, the carbon dioxide contract bid from Air Liquid, and the liquid chlorine, ferric chloride, fluosilicic acid, and soda ash from Hawkins Incorporated as prepared on the bid sheet. Okay?
Mhm.
Any questions or speaking? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. Under new business number 4, we have several personnel recommendations for your consideration.
Make a motion to approve the personnel as presented.
Second?
Motion is made and seconded that we approve the personnel recommendations as presented. Any questions or speaking? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. Unless you have any announcements, that concludes the agenda items for this meeting, and we would be prepared to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion is carried.